He didn't have a statement.
I don't respond to people who haven't won championships. But
I think
what does that have to do with?
Magic is offended that he mentioned Mike set him apart from all the point guards in history. He's like, well, so passing and making assists and winning ain't
a skill.
Opening up movie theaters in the hood, also a skill.
Yeah, with the unlimited strawberry soda.
Unlimited.
Magic Johnson doesn't have a conventional jump shot. I feel like that already disqualifies him, right? All that other shit like passing doesn't count. Cherishing how it looks versus the result. The GOAT is really Ricky Davis. He fakes the fucking bandwagon slurping of LeBron, but in reality, he's with Ricky Davis and Darius Miles.
They always
unlimited, Stevie. We had never seen that before.
I agree.
Unlimited.
I agree with Anthony Edwards, and we all agreed with him.
You agree?
We all did.
Don't say we, Gil.
We all did.
Who?
When we talked about Jordan, what did we always say? He was more skilled than everybody else. Did we not say that?
Well, people have said
He's
they
more athletic
in
than everybody
skill.
else.
Playing against
Talent.
Plummer was
and
the-
more
Danny Manning was really MVP material, but the play was like so redundant back in the day that the Clippers couldn't really like put him into the position, right? Like, what is he, like a 6'8" guard? Yeah, that worked out for him. Get hurt after a couple of years. I mean, that's obviously not the prognosis if we take defense out of the game. Then he has a 15-year career, probably called Kevin Durant or something.
So we was like, woo, he was far ahead of everybody else. And then when Kobe came, we was like, oh shit, Kobe's skill level is crazy at 18. We did say that.
But we didn't say Kobe was the only one with skill. We didn't
said,
say MJ was the
compared
only
to when Kobe came in '96, him as a shooting guard, he was already compared to Michael Jordan. So if Michael Jordan's skill level was a 10, so when Michael Jordan's skill level was a 10 and Kobe came in at 18, his skill level already was like, oh shit, he's more talented than everybody else. He was moving better than everybody else. So even if Kobe was an 8 in skill level at 18, we already had him moving better than the rest of the class.
I think we're
in
mixing
'96.
We're mixing up skill with talent.
He said skill.
When Kobe came in, like he wasn't like, what was he? He was Brandy's boyfriend, bro. Like nobody was talking about this nigga actually being. There were so many baby Jordans, guys. That might have been a bust. You know what I mean? Just like below expectation, whatever it could have been. Like he was already on his way to be below expectation by being a sidekick to fucking Shaq. Remember him jumping into Shaq's arms, being carried like his little boy toy. Like I'm just saying, like he was clearly not the alpha on that team. You know what I mean? Like he developed into something of a strong number 2, like 1B type of deal, you know? Just because Shaq got lazy. If Shaq was on the same team as Michael Jordan, would it play out the same way? Like Shaq is definitely something that you have to consider. Like if you're a coach, creating game plans against him also, like he's a factor. So if you got the choice, Kobe or Jordan, right? Like you already know what Kobe did with him. Maybe it's a better fit to have Kobe because he's a little less than Mike. It makes sense actually. Maybe Michael Jordan couldn't thrive like in an actual super team. Who knows? But this dude saying like Kobe Bryant was already the next Jordan, man, that's high. Just if you watch like the highlights and like Kobe didn't even play. Couple of seasons. Del Harris was the coach. Kurt Rambis, like he didn't get playing time really. What are we talking about? Like Dennis Rodman was on the team and Kobe wasn't getting real playing time like that. Kobe was a 6th man. Michael Jordan was never a 6th man, you know what I mean? Like, people looked at Kobe and said, wow, that's because Michael Jordan is that great. So anything that looks like just a tad, like Kobe was that young dude that was imitating Michael Jordan's moves and was actually known to be a fan. So young people could fucking relate to Kobe. Obviously, he was also pushed, but he had to fucking work to that, to become like that legit copy of Jordan. Like if you squint, you're not sure or whatever, you know what I mean? But also, you know, Kobe's athleticism was never that of Mike's. Like he doesn't have the hands. Kobe was his own player. That's okay, you know. But there were a bunch of other players, a bunch of other shooting guards at the time. I know there's differences like shooting guards and small forwards. There's a reason Grant Hill gets comparisons with LeBron. He's definitely more of a playmaker type. Rebounding abilities, defensive abilities, you know. Penny Hardaway, Mitch Richmond, and even like the B-class types like Steve Smith, Reggie Miller, all them, you know what I mean? Like there was more versatility in talent also. There wasn't just like one play style and everybody's attempting to look the same. Although it kind of started to trend that way because Michael made a very big impact on young fans, you know. That's when really the marketing started with the Dream Team, and just before that, I guess, you know. The bad boy Pistons against the Lakers and against the Celtics, I feel like that was when they got like real high TV ratings, you know. And that carried over obviously into Michael Jordan's prime and that new age of new generation of stars coming in. Tim Hardaway, Larry Johnson, you know, the 90s, man. A good fucking time. A lot of versatility. You could see they were inspired by the 80s. We kind of got stuck in the mud looking for the next Jordan. There was a time when people were looking for the next Magic Johnson. Michael Ray Richardson. Even the Warriors, they tried a small ball. Who was that center they traded Mitch Richmond for? That was an attempt at small ball, having a small center that I guess was more of a shooting type, more of a playmaking type. There were a lot of these like playmaking big forwards. They were getting deals just off Magic. The whole next Jordan, like the Harold Miners, you know what I mean? Like a dunking shooting guard. What are we looking for now? Little fellas that can dribble, center-like lanky shooters. So that means they're more skilled. Like Manute Bol was shooting threes in the 80s, putting up like numbers in threes at a time where that shit wasn't happening. I believe he was also on that small ball team. Check out the old Warriors, like the early 90s Warriors. They were putting up numbers too, like scoring like in the 130s. Also the Denver team with Kiki Vanderwey. I wasn't old enough to watch these teams play live, but the moment fucking YouTube or the internet came out, like you can research and find these videos, you know what I mean? Or just watch NBA games, man, old hardwood this and that.
Yeah, we didn't say nothing about talent.
That's what I'm saying. They're mixing up skill and talent. Because Kobe didn't come in as the most skilled or any. He was talented.
Who was more skilled than him?
Kobe was talent. He was pure talent.
See,
he was pure
with
talent.
that Boo Boo Baba Gucci cool, like with the lip, with the dark lips. Like who's more talented? Penny Hardaway, bro. Grant Hill. They had years on him. Does that count at all, or is it just like because you're younger you're better? Like a superstar in his fourth year is not better than the rookie coming in? Because he becomes the next whatever. Like Jordan was struggling with dudes that wasn't named Kobe. Like what are we talking about, man? Like the next people were coming. And then the next people were coming. Like, but they didn't have really longevity. That's what it is, man. I feel like you've got to find your own niche, man. Like even Jordan couldn't keep that up. Like how long did he play? 13 years? 15? That's with like coming back and shit though. Or taking breaks. Yeah, I don't know, man. Maybe Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is really the GOAT, you know? Longevity, efficiency, winning. We just get caught up with the... Like just listen to fucking Shaq. I feel like that's when it's just marketing over actual competitive fire, you know what I mean? Wanting to achieve. That's all this is, man. We're trending into a different thing. Crazy actually that a guy like Michael Jordan, obviously he was pushed as a motherfucker, like he had the machine behind him, but still like that he put like winning actually first in a sense, you know what I mean? Or maybe the league hadn't caught up to his competitive spirit yet. Or maybe the play style essentially was... I don't know what I'm trying to say here, man. The logic hasn't caught up to my point yet, so I'm gonna... Yeah, bail.
Talent.
More skilled, not talented.
Rookie year, AI?
Talent.
Pure
skill.
talent. Pure talent. Both of them was pure talent. They accumulated skills along the way. Along the way, Kobe got more skillful because he honed in these things about the fundamentals of the game, the way Jordan did. Along the way, after Jordan stopped using his athleticism, he got skillful. So what Ant-Man and I'm saying is like, Ant-Man's talking about talent.
Skill.
Ant-Man's talking about talent because he's matching his talent.
He's matching his
Ant-Man
skill,
can't
his
go out
move.
there and give me half spin, full spin, up
That's
and under.
move.
Bop, bop. That's skill,
That's skill.
right? He's doing pure talent. I'm just gonna jump over you. I'm just gonna jump
it's
over you.
footwork. Like that's what I say y'all mixing up. First of all, what Magic, like I hate when people do this. When someone says a general question about, there's, how many people was in NBA in the 80s? Let's say 400 people.
Probably like 350 or 35.
Okay.
I'm just.
How many were skilled?
And
20?
what year?
20 people was,
In
when
the
we
eight-
say
in the
not
80s?
just
Yeah,
skilled,
in the 80s.
not good, we're not talking about good. Skilled.
Isaiah
right?
Thomas.
Isaiah,
John Stockton.
was he?
Yes.
He was skilled like Isaiah Thomas.
Yes.
No.
John Stockton's
Why
not
not?
skilled.
Kareem?
Ball
I mean, not
handling,
Kareem.
passing
I mean,
the ball, your
no,
skill.
no.
It might not have been
No,
pretty.
not
It wasn't
Kareem.
pretty like a.
We're talking.
You don't know that. I've heard like old stars talk about Kareem. How he's like the smartest player they ever played against and with and all that. Like the stories are how he's like on and off the court type. Like Tim Duncan-esque positioning, can't push him off his spot. Good passer. He's not skilled. What's the accomplishment then for LeBron breaking that record? I don't know. Don't matter then, right? Fuck records and all that.
We're talking about Hakeem. We're talking about extreme. We're not talking about level 4 skill. Anthony Edwards is a 10 in skill. So you have to think about where he's thinking at, right? So you're talking about Magic. Yes. Bird has skill. Hakeem Olajuwon was skilled. Michael Jordan was skilled. Right? So when you take the 10 people out of the 400, there's 380 people who falls under this category. So we don't need Isaiah.
Okay, he's yelling, but that doesn't make him right. Does he know Sleepy Floyd? Like, I've watched certain games. Like, I don't have the access to it, to have been watching it. I remember like when I was 12, 13, I was ordering from Pontel videos. Not only old games, but like current games, like from the season before, couple of months before, you know what I mean? Because it's not like we get that shit live or whatever. So it's a hassle kinda, you know what I mean? So I put in the effort to actually become a New York Knicks team when they went to the finals. New York Knicks fan, I'm sorry. When they went to the finals, 98, 99, I believe it was. The lockout season. All the All-Star games, like, is Tom Chambers not a good player? Like, he's not a Hall of Famer, which is crazy. But, like, he's not Larry Bird. But that's the name that gets put in these reaction videos or whatever, compilations, highlights, trash-talking stories, like, all these stories, right? Like, the NBA promotes, like, 10 guys as their legends. And the others, man, they kind of fall by the wayside. It's not like it was in the 50s and 60s when like all the fucking role players on the Celtics, they're Hall of Famers. I guess Chips argue their point, you know, the validity of their inductions. Is Tom Heinsohn really a Hall of Famer? Who knows, man? Like, that's where it gets like iffy, you know what I mean? Like watching back that shit and really understanding what these guys were doing. It's not obvious, you know, you can kind of tell that Bill Russell was a little bit more on a difference maker. He's the X Factor type, you know what I mean? He's not what Gilbert would like a center to look like, I guess. He wants like soft Joel Embiid, you know, 30 and 15, but somehow still loses. Like he wants a crossover and the 3-step back hesitation. I don't know. It's just the optics. And also like what's been promoted to him, right? Like he doesn't know, constantly on the Golden State Warriors, but Joe something. That was like a perennial all-star in the 80s. Like people think it was easy to get in, I guess. I don't know. Like I guess, yeah, if you watch it back, a lot of these brothers had bad hairlines. Does that really disqualify them though? Like yeah, they did look older than they were. Like a 23-year-old usually looked 30. That was the style back then. Look at all the R&B singers, man. They had mustaches, bad hairline, you know what I mean? Like mini fros, you know, chest hair and all that, you know? Like guess what? Every 10 years shit changes. The older you get, you realize like how short 10 years can be. But now you got a new crop of weirdos telling you what you gotta adjust to type of deal, you know? Like now, double dribble and traveling and all that, like 10 years ago that wasn't legal. Can you give us a little time to adjust to your soft ass? Like we gotta change the game for you. If I now go on the street ball court, which I don't do anymore, but if I go like to hoop a little bit, like will I not be able to adjust? Do I have to break rules in order to adjust to the new game that's being played? So you're saying I can take 3 steps now. Isn't that making it easier? That's opening up the game, you're saying? So we just, like, how about we don't dribble anymore? I guess Wilt was right. Bounce after 13 years, you know what I mean? He did it right, man. Play volleyball, fuck this dribbling shit. Wilt actually did a lot of that Michael Jordan handle. Just having big hands, being able to, like, get away with shit while you're dribbling. Because Wilt was kind of looking at the ball while dribbling.
Thomas coming out defended. Nigga, we're not talking about you. So if I say, hey man, majority of these girls in here ugly. We don't need the 4 pretty girls to come up and say, you talking about me? No, motherfucker, I'm not talking about you. Move them. All of them. That we're talking about the field.
Okay.
Right? So I hate
They got good hearts, Gil.
I hate when the talented people come out and you try to be offended like the rest of your people was skilled. Yes, Isaiah Thomas, Magic, right?
He's retarded, bro. He doesn't understand, like, you on your own being great and skilled. Like, what's that? What's that, bro? That's that commercial. That Nike commercial. Was it a Nike commercial? Anyway, with these niggas from Stomp. Huh? Jadakiss. AI. Like, it's basically that then. We're just supposed to watch you, like, dribble to fucking Stomp. Doing beatbox. Fuck the opponent. Like, what the hurdle is what makes you great. Like, getting over that shit. You know what I mean? Like, this is the master of the participation trophy, this dude, bro. Like, he talk about that fucking 60-point game if it was a loss. I put 60 in code. You know what I mean? Because that's what it essentially is. If you put 60 on code, like Tony Delk doesn't go around talking about like he had 50. he had the quadruple nickel. He had 2 50-point games in a row. Tony Delk, Phoenix Suns. How about that? Like random 50-point games by people. You know what I mean? Like in losses or whatever. Like I'm not even saying. Like, I know Gilbert won that game. Against who though? Like, what, Smush Parker? Like, he talks about that 60-point game, but like, when it comes down to it, like, what is fucking Magic's point, right? Chips. Is Gilbert in that discussion? Like John Sadie said, like, Gilbert is great, but when it comes to getting past that, you gotta stay out. It is what it is. So maybe that passion is coming from, yeah, whatever, you know what I mean? I'm not gonna like make a fucking parade to this guy's bitterness, but obviously he's also like playing to the camera here. Dude, you know, right? That's probably what he hangs his hat on, like Kobe's dad, who won in the end. Yeah, like I'm not laughing at the man passing away. Rest in peace to him and his daughter and all the others on that. Like, that's craziness. Yeah, get caught up, don't we? But Gilbert, right? Like anybody else, like opponents, right, of Kobe Bryant's, when they get into reminiscing, like that shit isn't that long ago, so it should be kind of a fresh wound. Like I felt that shit. Like I remember, which is kind of crazy. Like Kobe Bryant was already in the league when I became a fan. I'm 39. Check out Gilbert on Steven Jackson and Matt Barnes' podcast. And when he like reminisces, it's like that goofy shit still. Like it's still performative. It's not coming from the heart. Like you can't count on him to give you actual him. So it comes off icky. You know? He's like giggling. He's doing the shit he does here. I don't know. It's just off-putting, bro. Check him also out on the Knuckleheads podcast. Gilbert hasn't really cashed in really on that whole thing that he had going back in the day, you know? Like it took him a long while. I watched interviews on like random clips of Gilbert and it didn't seem to catch on. Like him actually connecting with some of these former stars, getting into that whole hating on the 90s bag, or 80s and 90s. That gave him hype, you know what I mean? And also like him commenting on the Ja Morant gun situation got him a little bit of clout. I think the Miko and Rashad thing started going viral, you know what I mean? Like there was a lot of shenanigans going on from the Gilbert Arena. Yeah, the Gilbert Arena has revived, but we're not gonna pretend like Gilbert Arenas is really, like he's funny for a joke. Like people gotta realize that. And if you watch like Charles Barkley interviews and shit, realize that too. You know, he's funny for a joke. Like any actual joke, like they live in their own little bubble. So how relatable are they gonna be to us, you know? I see the scheme, I see the grift and Gil. They've been coddled for a long while. So to really come from a genuine place and connect to the audience is gonna be hard. Like it's always gonna be from this trolling perspective. NBA audience is a young audience, you know, they're gonna definitely like the not so serious aspects of shit. I don't want to call him bitter necessarily, but if he really had it his way, because I know how he acts when around sensible people, and he doesn't seem to. I feel like Gilbert is probably more of a shy person, you know, probably why it comes off as it comes off. Like we just take that he's a celebrity willing to go there as him being like completely entertained. That makes him like relatable. But actually I feel like he's more of a guy that wished his career could have panned out a little differently, you know. Maybe he could have been able to join a team, win a chip, not be first string, you know what I mean? Like he's now playing a role. Like he never really got that. The moment he wasn't the first option, he became expendable, you know what I mean? A headache. Like how we gonna fit him into what we already have? Like he's that guy. That's not what you wanna be. That's not how you wanna end your career. Like he's doing a lot here when he does this. But I feel like this is a guy that probably does want the respect of his peers. Fuck the fans, right? Like, fuck the fans, really. Because that's who he's catering to right now. And that, obviously, short term, I feel like, maybe even long term, that's gonna play out in his favor, right? Like, he's gonna make the bag. But I feel like Gilbert is probably sad, you know? What is he really looking for here? I understand the vendetta and all is... it's profitable. Maybe that's all it is, you know what I mean? Like, he actually has a gripe, and that gripe is profitable. Like, he's played the game, so he knows 100% more, 200% more than I do. I've played street ball. I don't know, like, I've watched the games. Like, I can see when a motherfucker's fucking up, not playing type of deal, you know what I mean? Effort is effort. Creativity is creativity. I don't know if you really learned it. I remember having trouble playing organized, but being able to play against them street ball. Never felt like I had big trouble defending. Like, enough about me though, you know what I mean? I'm just saying, like, my little knowledge, like just watching the game, doesn't compare to what Gilbert went through. So he knows, like, the old guard kind of putting him in his place. Like, this dude didn't get playing time early on. I remember early Afro Gilbert Arenas in his rookie season not getting playing time. Like, I read articles about all these type of players. Like, when Gilbert started playing, putting up numbers and got traded, what did he sign? Didn't get traded, right? He had the 0, you know what I mean? Like, for a reason. Like, we watched this dude. What am I missing? Because there were a bunch of players, hanger-ons from the late 80s that were still effective when he got into the league. So what is he talking about? You know what I mean? Like, even players that were not skilled in, like, people talk about Reggie Miller. Reggie Miller didn't have a bag. Like, he didn't have a handle. He had a fadeaway. He had a post game. Like, he developed it. I feel like people were starting to look at Mike, you know? Adjusting. Like, and Reggie played himself too without really handles, and Mike didn't have crazy handles. You needed to get to your spot, bro, back in the day. That's all you needed, man.
Said 2 people.
Matt-
He only said 2 people.
Did they have Jordan's skill?
These guys really didn't have skill like that. Only Jordan.
Yeah, not like that. Like, see, there's the key
Compared
word.
to Jordan.
Not like that. Jordan is level 10. Like, it's like a car, dog. Right?
Like Eddie Johnson said, could they really fuck with Clyde Drexler though? You know, the supposed second best. And that's like Jordan's rival. We're not counting all the new guys because they probably want to claim them, like Paul Pierce. Like, nah, we Kobe era, he said. Well, I understand that. He actually is after Kobe, so. But like Clyde Drexler, yeah. Maybe even Mitch Richmond, you know, like these were perennial all-stars, right? Happy to be on the West, in the West, on the West, as team, as a conference.
Jordan's level is 10. How many were moving on a level of skill level like him?
That's just scoring, though. We're just talking about scoring.
Just get
Dennis
there.
Rodman.
Are we crazy though? Like, what is Anthony Edwards' point then? Everybody wasn't Michael Jordan? Then he's right. Then I give him that. Not everybody was Michael Jordan. There was a center Michael Jordan though. How many center Anthony Edwards are there? I can also like put up teams like from back in the day that are like completely like jumpy. You know what I mean? What do you want? Like a shooting starting 5? Let's put up a shooting starting 5 from the 90s. Who's the point guard? Let's take Mark Price. Let's not even go with the A class guys. Let's take Mark Price. Because he's probably B tier to a guy like John Stockton, Tim Hardaway, Gary Payton, Jason Kidd coming into the league in mid-90s. Let's take Mark Price. Let's take shooting guard. We want a shooting starting 5, we said, right? So who could that be? Who could that be? Steve Smith is a good shooter. Whew. This is almost like 3rd tier. Okay, small forward. Who do we take? A shooting small forward. Who's a good shooter? Dale Ellis. He was aging out. Old Dale Ellis. Who gives a fuck? Mark Price. Steve Smith. Dale Ellis. Power forward. Who are the great power forwards of the 90s? The Charles Barkley is aging out there a little bit in the 90s, right? I mean, he had an MVP year. Karl Malone. This is pretty A tier, I'd say. Who's coming to the league? KG. We don't want them. They're too young. So, good power forward. Shooting power forward. You know what? I'll take Cliff Robinson. Cliff. Yes, sir. Stretch for you. We take a shooting 5. Looking for a shooting 5. Rick Smits. How about that? That's a good team. Pretty white team, huh? Mark Price, Rick Smits, Steve Smith, Dale Ellis, Cliff Robinson. That's a solid team. Start
Man,
to
that's
fuck
not
up.
skill. That's we're
Rebound is not a
when we
skill?
talk about skill, we're talking about offensive. Come on, you know.
No, we not.
No one
bro.
talks about defensively.
But that's
Come
because
on,
they
man,
one
stop.
dimensional.
So Dennis
They
is
not real. They not real
But
students
come
of
on,
the
let's
game.
just keep it in the
Anybody-
context.
No.
Let's keep it in the context. His
What's the
skill.
context?
There's only a few people that was moving skillful, right? Hakeem Olajuwon, Michael Jordan.
Dominique.
What part?
Skill.
What
He
part of
didn't go
that?
left. He was.
You throw Dr. J in
But he
there.
was not-
Dunking?
Was he skillful?
Dunking.
Come on, what moves did these people? Come on, Bird,
Julian-
Bird,
George Gervin?
George Gervin.
Gervin, maybe.
Maybe.
Right, but remember, for the most part, the people in the 80s didn't even dribble left-handed. So it kind of hurts. It kind of, like, it started moving. Like, when Tim Hardaway came in, like, the 90s is when a lot more skill came.
It's funny, like when we bring that up, right? Like it's always funny, but we take it out of context. Like the rules were different. You could get called for carry. So what are we talking about? Why is this joke still fun at this point? You couldn't play like that. Like I feel like Oscar Robertson would look a lot better if he'd be able to like a little swag it up, you know what I mean? But he was still able to do whatever he did, like even better, more than likely. Took less time to get his shit off.
Came in.
Larry
But
Bird wasn't skilled?
I said Larry Bird.
So you saying all of the guys like that need to...
Just the names we know. He allows them, right? But if we go like, how about Sidney Moncrief? And Sidney Moncrief, I've heard actually on the Michael Cooper podcast talk about how he agrees with the new age being more skilled than the old school. And so why not get like a guy like that in here? I understand like Gil will have respect for his elders and not keep the same energy, but it defeats his purpose. I feel like, I don't know. Does it really? He's pretty safe shadowboxing like he is. Actually bring in legends and getting into like a little bit of a debating, that would be a little risky for the brand, I feel like. Like you run the risk of getting exposed real quick, real easy. Like if a comedian like Ari Spears is able to do it, like the thing is it's a facade. It's not even like you have to disprove him. Even my whole point before that the dude is bitter and has really actually like right. That's me also like spitballing here, you know what I mean? Honestly, it's a hustle, you know? Yeah, it is what it is, man. So it would defeat the purpose, man. But I would like to see it, you know? Just to switch up a little bit the content in a sense. I see Rashad always taking up for and Gil arguing the young generation point. Like we've seen that scenario by now. We've seen your moves, right? Like on dry land. How about you test it out? You know, take a guy. That would be interesting, I feel. Like, take Rick Barry. Let Rick Barry tag team pause. Like him and Rashad. They team up and debate Sidney Moncrief and Gilbert Arenas. See how that looks. You know what I mean? Let the fans vote. Like have rounds and all that, man. That's what I'm saying. Like make it interesting. I wanna see an audience. Like Gilbert do his jokes land on an audience, you know what I mean? Make the 80s weren't cocaine jokes. Make it funny. Make it actual entertainment, not just slander. You know? We've seen it, man. That's all I'm saying. You know what I mean? And as I said, Sidney Moncrief is a legend from the 80s. Hall of Famer, I believe. Was on those Milwaukee Bucks teams that were contending. They didn't make it to the finals, but they were fighting it out against those Sixers and both teams, you know. And he was a well-rounded guy. He was defensively sound, offensively sound. Yeah, wouldn't that be interesting? And Rick Smith is more offensive guy. Like he wasn't really known, I believe, to be a stopper, but a very opinionated guy. Like imagine did I say Rick Smith's fucking Rick Barry? Fuck. Rick Barry, yeah, get him on the podcast, man. He's legend. Like, it's not enough. I understand. Like, that makes me think like it's a real gripe and real hate. Like, it's not enough actually to give like half-hearted, half jokey. Like when Jerry West passed, didn't know the man, fuck him, almost. You know what I mean? Type of deal. Like, is that really worth it? I don't know, man. Do you feel like, I don't know, that comes the disgruntled part in, right? Did Jerry West somehow snub Gilbert? Wasn't Gilbert the Memphis Grizzlies and Jerry West was the general manager? I don't know. Was he on Memphis? Like, sorry that I don't remember Gilbert Arenas like role player stops. It's not even like he wasn't even a role player. I don't think like was this motherfucker ever in a rotation like for even Orlando? Like this nigga talks about. Okay, sorry, like I'm getting like all pet. Stan Van Gundy did this and that. Like I wonder how his teammates were looking at Gilbert at that time. Was he revered at that point like he is now by the youngsters? You know? Oh yeah, those 3 years, Gil. We remember. Yeah, oh my god, yeah, that's petty. Like, where am I in my life, right? Like, laughing at a fucking... You know. If it's about that, guys, yeah, I'm not supposed to be sitting here. You know? Making... Right? Okay, Berto. The FBA's actually exiled him.
To just move out the way.
Move out of the way.
So who is
move out of the way.
So then who
so
is
we
he
can
talking
shoot. So he,
So then who is he talking
You're
about?
talking about
All the
everybody
guys that are
else.
not
Everybody
NBA guys, not all NBA, all Hall of Famer guys. Let's
No,
talk
not
about
all of it. Most people in the Hall. When we're talking about skill, we're talking about movement. First of all, the movement in there was handicapped by dribbling anyway, right? So when you're talking about Isaiah, when we say Isaiah and Magic, and you put their skill level in, and then say, all right, how many other point guards in the era match their skill? None.
Kevin Johnson,
Rod Strickland.
Rod Strickland.
That's 90s. Come on.
Yeah.
Stop.
He's in
Chris
90s.
Jackson.
Yeah, they will do it.
Chris Jackson.
He's not talking about fucking 90 to 99.
Okay, like, let me get in then. Sleepy Floyd. Like, how many points did he score in a quarter in the playoffs? Was it against the Lakers? I believe it was 35 or something. Is that where my... Like, back in the day, I would have been able to tell you that. Like, I've been smoking a lot since then. I'm trying to do this without researching it, right? 80s great points. Who was behind Magic in them? Like, if I can't name them, right? Not one. Who was in the West? Michael Ray Richardson. Maurice Cheeks? I feel like he was Cheeks. This Terry Porter count. God. Like Terry Porter, when I used to see Terry Porter, I just think like, oh, Michael Jordan. Then he turned his head and like it's a witch. Like a cracked out grandma or something. Yeah, it's a similar thing also with Mookie Blaylock. Gilbert always talks about Mookie Blaylock. Like he has a Mookie Blaylock story, how he's like alcoholic or whatever. Didn't come to training. Like I know Mookie Blaylock from like these Pontel videos, man. Getting swept by the Knicks in the first round. And he was a good player. Like also obviously I've seen other stuff from him. He was a good defensive player. A steals legend. Hawks. Tombo, Steve Smith. Back in the day, I used to like be able to name like all the role players' names. Like now they escape me. Like you already can tell, like I couldn't name a bunch of 80s point guards. Isaiah, yeah. Like I really can't think of fucking point guards in the 80s, bro. Like, I can't even think of teams. Who was there? Oh, there was this. Played for Houston, man. He was kind of cracking. Dennis Rodman almost beat him up. He was a coach for Dennis Rodman. John Lucas. I believe he was a point guard. It's taken me a while, man. Like, it's not like I'm being able to name stats and accomplishments here. But prominent, I guess, yeah. What are we talking about? Guards? Point guards?
When he mentioned Kobe came in 96. Boom. And everybody's like, oh shit.
So 80
this
to
kid is-
95.
Like when Kobe came with the crossing, that's a whole nother movement.
Allen Iverson.
So, but we
He's
talk,
not, but you know he's not talking about those guys.
so we capping it at 90.
Kobe's not the first big guard that crossed anybody. Come on now. Like, hasn't Penny been in the league like since 93? Or was it 92? What's going on? Grant Hill is a big guard crossing people.
94,
So who is
95.
he
Ray
talking?
Allen?
94,
So who is
95,
he?
because
80
when
to
Kobe,
95?
94, 95, because when Kobe came in, that's where it stops. Like, oh shit, Kobe.
So who is he talking about then?
How many shooting guards had a 40+ inch vertical in that era?
One.
Who?
David Thompson.
Okay.
Sean Kemp, probably.
Didn't expect that. Look at his face, bro.
Who?
David Thompson.
Okay.
God.
Sean Kemp, probably.
4-man. So
You said a guard, as far as guard?
shooting guard, yeah.
Yeah, probably just one or two.
Okay. Now, where does he rank in shooting guards?
Mike?
No, David Thompson.
Depends on who you ask.
History. By the consensus.
Not even top.
Not even top what? Nothing.
Yeah.
25, top 30.
Okay, so basically all Jordan's competition in that era did not even have the physical tools to keep up with him. So he was basically a Bugatti. And
Yeah, Townsend was before Jordan anyway. David Townsend faded out. He was on drugs.
everybody else was Honda, Civic, and most people, like, most everybody,
Adam.
all the shooting guards were 6'4" and
Spud
under.
Webb.
They didn't have no jumping ability, right? So who he went against, he's saying they wasn't talented, meaning they wasn't athletic to keep up with him. Today, everybody, me, I got a 40-something. Everybody I'm going against has a 40-inch vertical that can jump.
Gil never had that. First of all, I know he's not. Anyway. Scottie Pippen, bro. Scottie Pippen. Mike Jordan had another dude on his team, basically. That was athletic like that. There were athletic players in the NBA. Nobody had the grace that Mike had, though. Nobody had the hang time that Mike had. Dr. J, even old Dr. J, maybe. Dr. J was still like in his last season putting people on posters. So what does that really mean? What does it mean? Even Dominique, okay, I understand like these are small forwards and everything, but in this era there'd be two guards, I guess.
Jump with me.
So he's saying like nobody was a Bugatti like Mike. What I'm saying is a Bugatti's only good when it's going this way, and it's going fast. It's one-dimensional. It looks good and it goes fast. You know what this Honda can do? I can park and I can get the fuck out of here. I can actually hit the motherfucking curb, bounce off that bitch, and keep on riding. You know what you're gonna do when you hit something with that Bugatti? You're gonna stop. You're gonna call the motherfucker. I hit something with my Bugatti. I hit my Bugatti.
But that Bugatti never got hit. But that Bugatti
it's
never
gonna
got
go
hit.
0 to 60. It's gonna go fast, right? Woo. But if I got to turn, it's the wrong car.
But that didn't happen.
The wrong car.
But that didn't happen, Mike.
That's
But
the
he
point.
said-
One track. We talking.
He's not a Bugatti then. Anyway, doesn't have to do just one thing. Is Anthony Edwards like a top defender too? Like, I don't watch the NBA, current NBA like that. But I like these old niggas just like debating like that and acting like they have a, like Gil, just, I don't know, placating these young fellas, you know what I mean? It is a hustle, man. It's definitely, it makes sense.
The offense only. We're talking speed. We're talking talent.
That's what he's talking. That don't change the context to make a
Michael Jordan was a defensive player of the year.
The first sentence of the thing said, tough in this era. They said
that
they said I didn't watch back then, so I can't speak on it. They say it was tougher back then than it is now. Now he references skill because they're questioning whether it was tougher or not, and whether you niggas can come play when we was playing. He's saying, well, yeah, of course we could, because Mike was the only real.
He was the only one that.
He was the only one that was skilled like we are.
So it was tougher, more physical, but y'all didn't have the skill that we possess.
That's all he's saying, and it's true. Like
it's
I don't know why they arguing this. It's a truth.
No, it doesn't make sense. Like either you came in with like the whole athletic shit and made it more physical, and the skill wasn't a factor anymore, or it can't be both. Like they're trying to make it both, like them changing up the physicality and changing the trajectory. Like now we're in the air and we're staying in the air. That's what he's trying to say, right? Like that's physicality to me. But also he wants to say like these were all like butchers and woodsmen, punching and clawing. Left that behind, and we're now with the ballet. We see what Mike can do. And now we put in like we put a table in there too. Actually, they don't want to play opponents. They want to play inanimate objects. You know, jump over Kia. Fuck jumping over Frederick Weiss. That's not important, ruining his life and putting him into depression. Let's jump over the hood of a car. As if you're a 6 foot Hook Mitchell. You know? Like that's an accomplishment. Blake Griffin. Oh, where's Blake Griffin at? Thought he was like the reinvention of what the power forward is supposed to be. Star for a night. But Charles Barkley is about.
True statement.
Because KG and Paul Pierce both said on the show.
They arguing points. They're not even in the conversation.
Listen, but this is what they said. They said if y'all played back then, y'all wouldn't even
back then 2000.
But wait,
that's not
y'all wouldn't even be able to get to the step back. You wouldn't be able to get to none of that shit.
It's an argument that
he thinks he buys into that whole, like I was around, so he buys into the whole 2K thing. Like that makes him younger somehow. Like I was around and I'm feeling my age. He's older than me, so why is he so young? Because he feels young, because he acts young, immature. That gives him a pass from you. He's a youngin' now. Not an old head, he's a youngin', right? Like this guy. All razor bumps. Hey, come on now. Like he wants to stay young. It's fun. I know what he's feeling too. Like it's not that foreign to me. Like I can actually relate to that, you know? Like you hear me talking, I don't sound very mature. Yeah, that's just a midlife crisis type of thing, sounds like. 2000, that's not old, that's not that long ago. Only 25 years ago. Like bro. We're not 16 anymore, Gil.
He's arguing
that's chat. What I'm saying, get to none of that shit. And we hit.
That's like he's in that too. Like look at this alcoholic ass. Like what is going on, bro? They're trying to relax. Like that's why they get blonde in their hair and trying to keep up with the fashion and all that. Like I understand. Like back in the day, there was more like tendency to like not go with the times and get stuck into your own shit and your era. Like that's why you see like 80s dudes look older than they are. I feel like there was no real emphasis on hairline, more so on skill set, I feel like. Is that what it is? You know what I mean? Like we've exchanged the necessity for having a appropriate hairline, like with having actually aspirations to be a great player. You know, back in the day, like Kevin Garnett and them, they actually looked up to the generations before them. Although they already started like catching a little bit of that hip-hop resentment, which this is like the grandchildren of that or whatever in Black years. You know, of that resentment, that hip-hop resentment from soul and funk, then some weirdos like Michael Jordan jazz. You know, like I said before, bro, like I feel like that it didn't record or whatever. Just yeah. Like Willis Reed, it had a jazz-like feel to it, the 70s basketball. I watched the game and it did look like unorthodox, not conventional like we've been conditioned to like. Look more like jazz-like, like you can understand why they put jazz under it, you know, like as a soundtrack. Off-balance, one-footed. You think ill-advised, but a lot of like also rebound missing seemingly on purpose to get a better position for putback, like Moses Maloning it up, who was a absolute monster, by the way. Like if you watch old games, you'd know. I've watched old games. I've ordered them back in the day when I was a kid. Pontel videos. I've got a video of that 1987 All-Star game where Tom Chambers was the MVP. And a lot of like thriller All-Star games like Sleepy Floyd going off and Orlando Blackman icing it on the free throw line. Like, was that even, that might have been the Tom Chambers game, like Tom Chambers, yeah, by the way. Like people forget, bro. Like Tom Chambers was putting people on posters, high flying, shooting threes, handling the ball in transition, dishing. Larry Birding it up, you know what I mean? Like a buff, jumpy Larry Bird.
That's cat.
And you breaking your nose.
Cat.
And like they like.
He's talking about our era. You're not even part of this.
He was talking about Mike's era.
No, he's not.
Because he was in Mike's era.
He
was in Mike's era.
The step back, that's the 2000s when they had to come in and change the rules. It was 99, 2000. That's our era. You're not even part of this argument. Just because you was drafted, like, stop jumping into the argument if you're not actually part of it.
So here's my question for you, though. You hear Anthony Edwards say that MJ was the only one that had skill back then. Naturally, Magic Johnson's going to say, hold up, young
Yes,
fella.
that's fine.
I was skilled.
Yes.
I'm doing what I was doing.
If you were skilled back then, nigga, he's not talking about you. He's like,
but if I say only one person,
when you make a reference, then this is why I say people just want to be part of the argument. If I make a reference, niggas couldn't stop me back then. What position am I talking about?
Point guard.
I'm talking about so I don't need Ben Wallace to come out here. I'll block you 5 times. Nigga, I'm not talking about. Shut up.
Just like you said, I need context then, nigga.
The context.
Give me fucking context. Clear up who you talking about and when.
This combo guard is like, he had actually point guards guarding him. Like, that's crazy to me. That's a mismatch. And he knows it. And that's why he's like, not playing. Like, why is he playing point guard? Like, this nigga is Ben Gordon as nigga. Undersized shooting guard as.
And why? Say point guards couldn't guard me, nigga.
We don't need to.
Yeah, you do, because now I'm coming out like, nigga, yeah, I blocked you 5 times. What you talking about?
But no one does that. We know he's talking about shooting guards, so we don't need 2 point guards who was more skilled than everybody coming out talking about.
Bro, that's like everybody in the LeBron fans, right? They putting up a stat between me and LeBron and how many points LeBron had versus how many points I had. Nigga, I barely even fucking played. This nigga averaged 40 minutes a game.
But you guys play the same position,
But
right?
listen, I never was really in the game guarding a nigga like
But you
that.
guys
So
play-
now what they'll say is LeBron averaged 40 on you, and I'm like, nigga, he not.
That's
What are
the thing.
you talking
That's the
about?
thing that Gil's saying. When Gil's saying like, "Yo, I'm talking about none of y'all can guard me," he talking about point guards, just like when you talk about LeBron. So they're gonna go to you because okay,
you're talking about a certain
So
person.
you're talking about a certain person that play your position.
Still don't matter. The game is the team.
They don't
my
care
team
about
played.
they don't care
You can't
about
just. That's why this generation is cooked.
don't-
That's why he said what he said. He sound crazy. You're cooked.
No, when
You're cooked.
KG say, man, I used to bust their asses. We know who he's talking about. Everybody who got the power forward.
He's talking
not
about the team.
me.
You know, he's talking about the team. I used to bust that team ass.
he never said
I used to bust whoever was guarding me. I used to kill him with all of them forward.
I think the difference is like why does Gary Payton talk about Michael Jordan stopping Michael Jordan or what he could have, should have done? You know, why is that? Why does Michael Jordan laugh like that and says the glove didn't give me no problems? Didn't have no problems with the glove. You know? It's like you appreciate your opponent. You appreciate the guy putting effort in, right? Against you. Trying to make you what you're supposed to be. Great. Like he's helping you in achieving that. Like you want to diminish him after that. No. You want to actually uplift him. Right? Why is he singling you out? Because you're the man. He's trying to get there. That's why he's singling you out. You should understand that. So people take this disrespect, Michael Jordan laughing at Gary Payton like that. In retrospect. But he also says the glove, right? Like, come on now. Your opponents, your rivals, they make you better. They make the victory sweeter. The hurdle you gotta overcome.
Nah,
All of them sinners.
So we know he's
All of them
talking about
guards.
shooting guards and the shooting guards that was in era. Like, we know that. So people need to stop trying to move it so they can talk about it. Magic, we know you have skill. Bird, these is not your let the two guards speak for the two guards.
Oh, man.
Let the shooting guards speak for the shooting guards.
Just like you saying, I scored 60 on Kobe.
Let the shooting guard.
When you say that, that's false, Gil. And you know it. And you say it for the cap. You literally say it for cap and you know you didn't score 60 on Kobe. 24 points you scored on
35.
Kobe. You keep changing it every
35
time. You went from 24 to 35. I'm like, God damn, bro. You know you didn't score 60 on Kobe.
Well, technically, Kobe's team. Well, technically, look at it, because this counts too. If I was his responsibility and I got the rebound and took off, those are 2 points. If I got
Oh
fouled,
my God. If you get the rebound off the transition,
if you're guarding me, and I get the rebound and you get mixed up in what's the name because I just blew past you and scored,
that's not a point on me, Gilbert.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not. You niggas are what?
if you foul me and I go to the
We're
free throw,
in transition. You get the rebound.
I'm your man.
And somebody picks you up in transition.
No,
I'm on the other side.
No one picked me because I'm too fast. I just got it off the rebound and took off and scored 2 points.
But I'm not near you.
And I got to steal.
But I'm not near you.
I got to steal and win and score. They don't count towards you?
No. Your points are when I'm guarding you, I'm in front of you. Hey, I got this. No help. All right.
And
Boom,
free
bucket.
And I backdoor, you get free throws, none of that counts.
Backdoor. If I'm guarding you, yes. Backdoor, yes, because I missed it. He scored.
How about free
Goddamn.
throws?
If I foul you, yes.
How about if anybody foul me?
No, not anybody. If I foul you. If I foul
So
you.
nobody scores no points, so nobody then.
What if he
I just
dribbles
remember
by
the
you
scouting
and he
report used to
Dribbles
come.
by me, get fouled, it's on me.
Okay.
Yes.
I just remember when the scouting report used to come and they had who you was against.
And that's it.
And then after the thing, when it came up,
You know damn, he knows damn well.
Then,
he
no,
knows
if you're
damn
on the
well.
bench, if you're on the bench and the nigga getting hot and he ain't scoring on me,
Shit.
I'm on the bench.
Nigga be like that, man, put me back in. Come on, man.
Yeah,
He's getting too many points.
Because
I'ma look bad.
He only had 3 when I was in. Now he got 12 when I come back in.
I'ma look bad.
12. Yeah.
Yeah, we know that already. so when
Not fair,
when a nigga be like, yo, I
not
scored
fair.
way up against that nigga. You already know how that looks, dog. You already know. And anybody in the chat, y'all little hoopers, y'all already know if an NBA player played on the court and you played in that game, even if he didn't guard you, when you told that story, you told the stories as if you bust his ass. Like, yo, Shaw showed up, nigga, I was torching that nigga, man. I done won 5 games.
Hey, we know what type of niggas.
You already know we do.
know what type of niggas it is.
You already know.
And the thing is, could have been just 2 buckets.
2 buckets.
But so what though?
Just
But-
own
yeah.
me.
It couldn't even been on you. It's just you was in the game.
Yeah, you was just
I
out there.
scored 41. Jordan was there. Shit, I scored 41 on Jordan. I don't give a fuck what nobody say.
Fair, that's a fair.
In that case, I had 34 on Kenyon.
Hell yeah.
Top.
Who's the best player on the team?
Who? On our team?
Melo.
Yeah.
You scored 41 on Melo.
34 on Melo. then.
What's his ass?
Well, Kenyon was actually guarding me a little bit, but yeah. Well, whoever.
This minutia and context is unnecessary.
But tell the point guards, man, 80s, 90s, relax. Let the shooting guards speak for themselves.
So, Gil, by your estimation, how many players have Jordan's skill in this current NBA? Not saying they're Michael Jordan, but have a similar skill set. So let's just preference that.
See, that's if we just do just raw, right? All we can go off is just the metrics of their agility, the speed, and then their jumping ability, height, and attributes. That's all we can go off of. How you use it is very. So as a shooting guard, like who we're talking about? You're talking about somebody like DeRozan, right?